Good evening. Surprising revelations tonight about the Children's Aid Society of Toronto. We have learned that every single one of their drivers responsible for ferrying vulnerable children to appointments and access meetings, they are all volunteers.
Yeah, and this follows a story that I first brought you on City News tonight at 11, how a 6-year-old Scarborough boy was a victim of mistaken identity and removed from his school by a CAS volunteer.
I felt like I failed my son because no matter what, it's my responsibility to keep him safe.
This mother refusing to send her child back to school today, saying her trust in Walter Perry Public School is now shattered.
I just thought, what could he have been thinking through that ride, you know?
Her 6-year-old son wrongly taken away from his school Tuesday, put into a Children's Aid Society van and taken on a nearly 3-hour ride. And the first indication that something was wrong was when his mother got an automated call from a school saying her son was marked absent.
Nearly fainted about 4 times, and that's when I started to make my walk down to the school.
First told by staff the boy's grandmother had picked him up, this mother then went into panic mode. In reality, he was taken to CAS offices.
A very unique situation, unique kind of parts of this situation that have come together, obviously, to result in this horrible mistaken identity. That's why we've reached out to the parent to do anything we can. Obviously, we've apologized. It shouldn't have happened.
The mother says her son was mistaken for another student at the school with the same first name. She was told by staff the volunteer driver only asked for the child by their first name when they came to pick him up. Her son was pulled out of class and told his grandmother was waiting, but he was then taken to CAS offices instead.
He arrived maybe about 15 minutes to 3, and he was like, "Mom, a stranger took me," and I cried.
So since we started reporting on the story last night, the TDSB has been quite transparent. They got back to us within an hour and they explained that they sent a staff member home pending the outcome of their investigation. And of course, they apologized to the boy's mom.
And it's been quite a different situation when it comes to the Children's Aid Society. We reached out to them yesterday afternoon at about 3:30. They initially refused to comment. Today they refused to go on camera to try to explain this mix-up. They did give us a statement, though, and they said that the boy was never in any danger. There is someone who does want to talk about this story, and he is Ontario's child advocate.
They didn't ask the child, it seems, their full name. Are you the right person I'm supposed to pick up? They treat that child as if it's Purolator coming to pick up a package, but children are people.
Ontario's child advocate so disturbed by our story from last night, he took to Twitter.
I put on Twitter, how about asking the child their name? And I did that because I see this story as another example, a symptom of a larger problem, which is that we don't have a child-centered, child-focused system. We don't have a system that listens to children.
The 6-year-old boy called out of class believing he was seeing his grandmother, told his mom he tried to resist going with the CAS volunteer driver, a complete stranger.
I know he said it before getting placed into the vehicle that you're not my grandmother, because that's who she presented herself to be, as a grandmother. So he automatically put up resistance right there. And as I said, that's when he said that she grabbed him by the arm and roughly placed him inside the vehicle.
The Children's Aid Society of Toronto tells us in a statement the child was never in any danger nor distress and was, according to the driver, very pleasant and a happy little boy. They say the volunteer driver called the school before pickup and confirmed the child's first and last name. She asked for the child at the office and a child was presented to her. CAS calls this an unfortunate case of mistaken identity. But Ontario's child advocate says there are serious consequences when agencies in charge of protecting children don't listen to those children, a void he hopes will be filled by new legislation.
The new legislation comes from Caitlin Sampson's inquest, where a child who was not listened to, not even asked if they were okay, ended up dying. In this case, thank God, the child didn't die, but certainly in the life of that 6-year-old, probably it's one of the more traumatic things that's happened to them.
And so it may surprise you to learn, as it did us, that the CAS said that all of their drivers are volunteers, but they do want to stress that they do undergo rigorous police and background checks. We are still waiting for more information on the extent of their training. We do know that there was a meeting with CAS volunteer drivers today, and we are told that they will review whether changes need to be made to their pickup protocol. Now, the mother of that 6-year-old boy reached out to us to share her story in a search for answers and to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again. This is how you can get a hold of us if you have a story that you believe needs to be told.